Hello and welcome to the booth, conversation as it should be. I'm one of your co-hosts, Sean Zimney.
And I'm your second co-host, Matthew Ingham.
And we're going to be doing a little more relaxing topic today, or relaxing podcast. We've done 3 straight podcasts in a row that have really deep themes, and really polarizing themes. Today we're just going to be talking about music, and we're going to talk about the 2 songs. Each of us are going to pick 2 songs that really affect us deeply, spiritually, or emotionally for different reasons that we haven't told each other yet. We've told each other the songs, but not why we picked them. We're just going to be relaxing, talking about them. Matthew, what's the importance of music?
Yeah, well, like you said, you know, the 3 topics we've chosen so far are very controversial in nature and very dividing in nature. However, music, I think, can be and should be this unifying thing, no matter where you are in the world.
For sure.
We have different styles of music, but it's all music. And so I think finally looking at something that can unify us rather than divide us is needed.
For sure. Yeah. No, yeah. It's music is just kind of another, not kind of, it is another method of communication. And that's what the booth is all about. So how we're going to do it, I'm going to play one song, and you guys are going to listen to it too. We're going to be listening to it all at the same time and commenting on it and commenting after the song's over, most likely. And then Matthew will play his first song, then I'll play my second, and then his second, and our final one. And then we'll just kind of debrief at the end. But I'm going to start right off the bat with a song called Always on My Mind by Michael Bublé.
Little Bublé.
Oh, yeah. Michael Bublé is my all-time favorite artist. And this is not supposed to be like a music review either. But little thing about Mr. Michael, I mean, he's got jazz, like Frankie, like Dino, but he's also got that kind of pop tune. And this song is kind of in his transition album that his voice changes. If you listen to his old stuff and his new stuff, and you can tell, like, in this album is where it's kind of changing. It's the album before his Christmas, his big famous Christmas album.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The Christmas one that everyone has.
And I heard this song for the first time in South Africa this summer when I went there. Weird thing, you know, I was listening to Spotify, this one came up. It's like, why have I never heard this song? Because I've heard every other, I promise you, I've heard every single other Michael Bublé song ever made. And it hit me at different moments and for so many different reasons. Because as the lyrics say, he's talking to this love that he's lost or is losing, trying to get back, possibly, or just completely lost. And he's saying, well, everything that I've done, you are always on my mind. You are always on my mind. And so if you look at the lyrics, him with this song, is singing this song, is singing it to a love interest, a woman, as he says, girl in it. But there's also a deeper, and that was when I first heard the song, you know, it deeply affected me that way, but having lost other people in different ways of life, through death, through whatever they leave, you can also attribute the song to those types of experiences. And that's what I do every time I hear it. I mean, I've lost a brother, I've lost a grandfather, and now just recently an uncle, very prematurely. And especially with those experiences and attributing these lyrics and the tone and the mood of this song, everything I do in my life, because I get very connected. I'm all about family. It's every way in life you're bringing with your experiences, you're bringing with the love that you feel for other people, the connection that you feel with your family. Your family never leaves you. You're always with them. Mm-hmm. You know, so when I'm thinking about, my grandpa's the closest person I've ever been to. The most important father figure in my life, and I have 2 dads. I have a dad and a stepdad, and my grandpa is that guy. And my brother, obviously, a sibling connection is something that you can't deny. Mm-hmm. That is just it's intangible, but it's so strong. I'm thinking every mode in my life, everything I do, they're always on my mind. You know, they're Definitely. Always with me. So that's why this song gets me for those different reasons.
Definitely. You know? Well, when you showed me this song yesterday for the first time, I heard it as a love song.
Yep.
But then reading the lyrics now while listening to it and hearing you say that, it's taken on a whole different meaning. I'm looking at like this second the second stanza there that says, "Little things I should have said and done, I just never took the time. You were always on my mind." I mean, that is the ultimate, almost deathbed phrase that people say.
Yeah.
The things I should have said, I should have done, all these regrets, I never took the time, and now that I'm looking back, I should have.
Yeah, because you always have regrets. Even if my grandpa and I had the best grandfather-grandson relationship I could have ever asked for. My best friend will always be my best friend. Sorry, Matthew, no one's ever going to replace my best friend as my grandpa. But you still have regrets, like, oh, maybe I should have taken the weekend or something to drive there this time or that time. There are always those things when you lose someone that you have those regrets. And that's what this song is really getting and bringing forward, you know? And yeah, the love interest part of it too is very important, and I don't want to dismiss that. I'm only 20 years old. I have not had many love interest experiences, but still, you have deep connections with people. I mean, I was kind of off and on with a woman in high school for about 3-4 years-ish, ended pretty abruptly. And so those types of experiences, I'm not saying it's like it affects me today, because you get over that stuff. But you also attribute that to there, you know?
Right.
There's many different facets to this song that you can use, and you can use the song as a mode to kind of get out. You know, whenever I'm singing in the car, it's always this song. And yes, I blare in the car when I'm alone. It's embarrassing.
Not at all.
Oh, but I love it. So yeah, that's always on my mind with Michael Bublé. Little deeper than I'm sure he even intended when he sings this song.
That's the beautiful thing about music, though.
Oh yeah, music is one of the most subjective things in the world, and it's beautiful. You know. So let's move on to Matthew's first song, which is
Future Past by
Future/Past.
Future/Past.
Not Days of Future Past.
It's just Future Past.
Future/Past.
By John Mark McMillan. He is a Christian artist by definition. However, I would not put him in that box, because I think Christian music has created its own box, and that it's all the same guitar chords over and over and over, and the same sounding dude or girl that are just singing the same type of lyrics. John Mark McMillan is just 100% outside of that. I was lucky enough to get the chance to see him in a very intimate setting at Purdue when I was there. He came to the church that I was worshiping at, and there was probably just about 150, 200 people at the concert, and it was standing room only. And so it was a very intimate setting where he was able to really show why he wrote some of the songs the way he did, what inspired him to write this or write that. And
but this is definitely a faith-based song.
Oh, it's absolutely a faith-based song. I mean, the whole thing, if you read the lyrics, is based on him describing God's dominion over us. The first line, "You hold the reins on the sun and the moon, like horses driven by kings. You cover the mountains and the valleys below with the breath of your mighty wings." It's saying that God is in everything, over everything, is of everything. And I find it so cool. I mean, he when he explains these songs, and he did another popular song people might know, "How He Loves" is the name of that song. It's pretty popular now, but when he explains that one, he wrote it after a death of a friend, and he's moved to tears. This song, he has moved to tears in why he wrote them. And you can really hear that as he sings each verse. And then when he gets to this chorus, "You are my first, my last, future, and past." I mean, I was in tears at the concert. There's just something about knowing that in this world of change, and that everything is constantly changing day to day, our schedules are, our families, our friends, that there is something eternal that is never changing, has never changed, and will never change, right?
Because we search for that type of continuity. You know? We search for something, because you're right, this world is always changing. Everything in our lives are changing. We're in college, we're in a transition period in our lives.
Yeah.
It's nice to have that feeling of a constant, you know?
Right. And it's not like a fallback either.
No.
You know, as you read some of it, you know, you kind of think, well, is it just like when things are changing, I'll fall back on this thing that's constant, which, to be fair, is what does happen sometimes.
Sure.
But at the same time, you know, he is saying in this song, John Mark McMillan is saying, I can't run from you. I can't hide from you. I can go to the ends of the earth, the ends of the universe, and yet you're still going to be there unchanged. And that's just so far outside of what we know on this earth that it's overwhelming for me.
It's a very comforting song.
It is.
You know?
It's very comforting to just know that he's there for us.
Yeah, that's something so powerful. That God, that she can hold the reins of the sun and the moon, you know? It transcends all of our abilities, all of our earthly, our secular worries, you know? The little things, but to know that we've got this thing, this being, this God to help us through. Not maybe necessarily, like when I look at the lyrics, it's not like, God, help me through every little thing. It's like, no, it's talking about the big picture, you know, that there's a plan. It's like a parent and a kid, because, you know, God, the Father, whatever, that they're always there. You know, that you shouldn't have to worry, and you don't really need to. Yeah, you can worry about the small things, you know, life is full of worries, but it's about that, like, worrying about the big picture, got it covered, man.
Yep.
You know? Yeah, that's
And I think the thing about music, too, is that once it impacts you the way it does, like this song, it's about application going forward.
Yep.
I saw application going forward from your Bublé song, and that don't let those moments slip by, right? Utilize those moments so that you don't have to be sitting there having someone on your mind what you should have done.
Yep.
And for this song, it's about realizing, like you said, the bigger picture, about knowing that when your exam doesn't turn out the way it does, that is so minute.
Yeah.
So minute.
Yeah. It's a little
And
blip.
meaning.
It's not even a blip.
No, it's not even a blip on the grand scale of
But yeah,
things.
because he's talking about the beginning and the end. If you look at the timeline of the world, I mean, if we look at it through the way we look at the world's timeline, from beginning to end, that's what he says in the song. Beginning to end, a little thing like that, it's a little blip. You're absolutely right. Our lives are a little blip.
Well, what are we on, like the calendar, if they put the calendar?
Yeah, we're on like the
last
first hour or something like that.
Yeah, the last
Or the last
day.
yeah, the last hour of
And
the
then
last day.
Oh, I mean,
Year.
it's insane.
Yeah, it's
And yet, he is eternal. He, she is eternal.
Yep.
And is there for us through all of it.
Yep.
And that for me is just beyond.
This is a
beyond
great,
powerful.
even like when you think about not to attribute every song to loss, you know, but talking about what the importance of faith and the notion of God when you lose someone like a family member. It's like, you're right, we are just a little blip. You know, say I just lost my grandfather. Say I live for 60 more years. I'd be 80 years old. That's above average, so that'd be pretty good. That is nothing compared to eternity, beginning to end. So that's what I think of when you lose someone. It's like, to us, yeah, it's 80 years. We think it's a long time, but to Grandpa up there, it's going to be like a snap.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, why don't we move into your second song, which I am very curious to hear the origins behind the song and also how you found it. So why don't you let me know which song that is?
My next song, my second song, is I'll Walk With God by Mario Lanza. Let me just preface this because it's a very old, very, very, very old sounding song.
It's an old song.
Kind of hits you right off the bat. Short, old song. You can be like, what? This is the song he chose? And it again is attributed to my grandfather. So, my grandfather, like I said, I don't need to preface anymore, but he's the most amazing person. I'm here today because mostly because of him. You know, he taught me how to think the way I do. He taught me how to love the way I do. And I actually gave the eulogy at his funeral. And at his funeral, this song played. That was the first time I had ever heard the full version of this song. And because he had like requested that this would be played. I didn't even know he liked this song.
So you heard this song for the very first time at your grandfather's funeral.
Like my parents said, he requested this song, and I didn't look it up. I was like, okay, whatever.
Wow.
And so I heard it then. And it's just, it sounds like a morbid song. It's morbid and uplifting at the same time.
Right.
And being someone who has struggled with faith, but my grandfather who had just a steadfast faith through all the troubles he went through. He lost his wife to cancer. He went through World War II. He lost his grandson to cancer, my brother. You know, this guy went through so much in his life, but just remained such a bright spirit. And this song correlates that so well. like, yes, like, I'm dead. Like, this is me from his perspective. I'm dead. But why? I don't have to worry, you know? God's got me. That his faith was so strong. He wasn't a guy that went to church every week, you know? He didn't go to church for the last 20 years, I think. Because he told me, I've been there, I've heard it, I've heard the scripture. He's like, I worship in my own way. And I've kind of carried that with me, too. You know, you don't have to be this guy who goes to church every time to be the most spiritual guy I know. He was the most spiritual guy I know. And this song it's the one song that I will get tears in my eyes. I'm not a crier at anything. I didn't even cry at his funeral. I have not cried in the longest time. Like, it just doesn't happen. I wish it did, but it doesn't. But this song brings, like, you know, that when you're about to cry, like that feeling, almost every time. I mean, I'll listen to it in the car on the way home, and it just gets to me so hard, you know? Mm-hmm. Because, yeah, you miss the guy so much. You know, you miss people so much. But this song epitomizes that, yeah, it's over, but I'm now able to walk with God in paradise, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I lived a great life, an amazing life, the best life I could live. But it's over, and now I get to move on to the next. You know, I'm rewarded. I get to walk with God, not to God. You know? It's a truly beautiful song. Love it to death. Kind of abruptly starts and abruptly ends, like you just heard. But yeah, it really gets to me hard. Yeah.
I like that. Well, we'll move on to the last one then. My second choice, and again, there are so many songs that we could have picked. It was very hard for me to narrow it down, but one that has moved me quite a bit as of late is Heavenly Father by Bon Iver. I don't know if it's not, I mean, Holocene is his most
I love that song.
popular. It's a great song. I could have picked
one of my favorite movies of all time.
I could have picked any Bon Iver song to go here.
You picked the one that's not on Spotify.
It's not on Spotify. No, it's not. So I could have picked any Bon Iver song to go in here. I think Justin Vernon is simply stunning human being. Mm-hmm. Lyrically, musically, it's stunning.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the song Heavenly Father, it contrasts heavily with Future Past, in that Justin Vernon here is debating what he believes in. Mm-hmm. And he's looking at, and what I've read, from what I've read, and from what I gather, is that he is debating the existence of this God in a box, this church in a box. Some people, when I've read on this song, because I just wanted to know more about it, have said that he's talking about to a girl who goes to church and he can't do it anymore. It's conflicting with him. But you know, he is a person who has plenty of doubts, and you can hear that throughout many of his songs, and heavily on his newest album, 22 Million. But in this song, it's just so powerful, and the questions that he asks, while, you know, they do contrast with Future Past and knowing that God is there, but knowing that God is there eternally doesn't mean you can't have doubts and questions. And I think this song sums up a lot of what I feel. I was raised in a home, wonderful home, but at the same time, it was a box of Christianity. It was go to church on Sundays. It was go to church
all you
Wednesday
ever knew,
nights.
right?
All I ever
Didn't
knew.
doubt it. Yeah.
And I'm not saying that that's bad.
No.
I don't doubt the faith of either of my parents one single bit. But for me, I am struggling with getting outside of that box and feeling guilty when I go outside of that box. Yeah. Which is tough for me. And I'm trying to see the love of Jesus Christ in the gospel, and to feel that, because that is who God is, and he, rather than the one who is going to damn you to hell if you screw up here, or if you do something bad.
Even
over
other
here,
beliefs in different kinds of gods are important too. You know?
Well, it's just, you know, I'm trying to find that God, because I think the God of love sits just outside of the box that we have confined God to in the Christian church.
Yep.
And it's, for me, this song is saying, how do I want to worship? How do I want to find God? He's saying that he's had these issues and these ways of connecting with God, and there's thousands of ways to connect with him, and I'm sorry, but I can't go to this church anymore. I can't be in this box anymore. I've got to get outside of it because life goes too quickly. And there are too many ways to experience God. And there are too many ways to pray. And you've got to go and search for that, because if you don't get outside of that Christian box, you're never going to find it.
I love it. Because it is a very individual song, because that's what faith is, right? You find God not collectively, but individually. Yeah, you can find God in a church with hundreds of people, or on a mission trip with thousands of people, whatever, or at a concert with thousands of people, whatever. But it's on that individual level that you find it, and there's a story in the Bible, the Tower of Babel, that talks about diversity, and that's the diversity, how I attribute it, the diversity of beliefs and how important that is, and God punishes his people for not having that diversity. And I think that's kind of what speaks to the song in the way that he's breaking kind of different walls, He realizes that he needs to get out, He's trying to find these different modes, trying to find himself through other, through getting around those shackles, this is a song where you've got to listen to multiple times, to really get it. And this is only the second time I've ever heard it.
Also, he doesn't pronounce words very well, so it takes you a couple listens regardless of what
the
song
lyrics
it
in
is
front of
for
you
him.
really
To actually make out what he's saying.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the question he asks at the very end of the song is another one I and many people deal with is all that he offers a safety in the end? Is what we believe in, and I don't think it is, but it's a question that pops into my mind. Is all that we believe in just a safety net so that we can say there is something post-death, that we're scared of death, there's something post-death? And I think it's a wonderful question to ask. That's not meant to diminish someone's faith, but these are questions that we have to ask to build your faith up.
The best of it just makes sense, like faith out of rationality, in that where it's like, well, if I do believe in a God and I'm wrong, what do I lose? Nothing. But if I don't believe and I am wrong, I lose everything, right? There's that type of faith where I think we'd both argue that that's not really faith, right? That's not the strongest faith. That's not what God wants. But
it's tough to think. Not think that way.
And this song importantly addresses this, you know, because we all go through these things, and we don't often find in songs that internal struggle about faith. A lot of Christian music you hear is very uplifting, and that's great. Like, I love that. You need that. You're having a bad day, I love to listen to uplifting Christian music. But there's also that importance of that other feelings that you get, that just as often, really. Because life is not all sunshine and rainbows, as we all know. More often than not, you get some tough shit that you're going through. Yeah. And this guy addresses it. I love it so much.
And I think that's part of the box that we've created within the Christian church musically, is that you have to be confined to praising God. But what happens when you're pissed off and you're angry? Because I think there's a certain beauty in being so real with your Creator that you can yell and you can scream and you can be pissed off, but you're still having that relationship.
Those moments are important.
You're still having dialogue. You're still having communication. And I think that doesn't fit that box. That's outside of that box. And that's what he's saying here. And to the point you made earlier with finding how you connect, right? Like I said earlier, there is no right way to pray, but I've been taught that you fold your hands by your head. That's a perfectly fine way to pray.
Yeah. You can pray through music.
You can pray through music. You can pray through anything.
This
you can worship through
prayer,
anything.
Right?
Absolutely. And if that's writing for you, if that's drawing, if that's hiking, running, working out, whatever it might be, you can find God and worship God and pray to God and communicate with Him
what is prayer other than a mode of communication?
In any of those things, right? In any of those
to
things,
God,
right?
Yeah,
absolutely. And I think that's what he's saying here.
Yeah, this is just an absolutely incredible song. I mean, those are our 4 songs. If you have anything else to add, Matthew, that's about all I've had.
My list could have been.
Oh yeah, you could go.
We could sit here for
on.
another 24 hours, pop out another few hundred songs.
Yeah, I mean, all my songs would probably just be Michael Bublé or Frank Sinatra. But, not many people enjoy it like I do, but that's okay. This is a really fun topic, actually.
Absolutely.
This is really fun, really relaxing. We're both huge fans of music. Music can affect you so deeply and so many different ways, like we have shown today. So what I want to ask you, the viewer, is what songs affect you so deeply like these have affected us.
And you can send those songs to us. We'd love to hear about it via comments on our video. You can also send us an email. You can be the first one to send us an email at questions.thebooth@gmail.com. Again, that's questions.thebooth@gmail.com. But we'd love to hear from you. As we said before, music touches people in ways that nothing else does, and in different ways. And we would love to hear how certain songs have impacted you in your life. So that's it for us today from the booth. I'm Matthew.
I'm Sean.
And we will see you next time.